Hey folks, Stronghold Crafter Kev here. Welcome to my channel. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about my intro to dungeon tiles. And we're going to be talking about how I basically make them out of foam. Briefly, of course. And the different aspects of what I want in my system, and more or less, and how I'm going to give credit for where I got some of my ideas from. So, if you are new to the channel and you like what you see, feel free to subscribe, because I have a lot more things coming on the channel. Wouldn't want you to miss out. And by the way, Jax SI. And for more information on my craft, visit my website, which is strongholdcrafter.com. And I'll see you in a bit. Hey folks, welcome to my intro on making dungeon tiles from foam. So, I'm going to try to be as brief as I can with certain aspects of this. This is not a tutorial, this is just an intro for my thoughts and feelings about crafting dungeon tiles and dungeon tiles. Anyway, basically when I got started in role-playing, I was doing the theater of the mind part. So we didn't have dungeon terrain way back when, or the figures, so we had to rely totally on our imaginations as to what we were involved in. So we didn't have the idea of, okay, you're in a room and you can see what's going on in here and all that. So just to give you an idea, we didn't have, you know, any perception as to, okay, what is in the room with our players and stuff. Anyway, after watching some videos of theDM'sCraft and theDMG.info, I've got a lot of inspiration to take a stab at dungeon terrain. So you'll know now that I'm not just limited to wanting to craft just strongholds per se. And anyway, so my dungeon tile system will be mainly made out of foam, as you can see. And you can see very closely here that the detail, the texture, is what I love about this, as opposed to cardboard per se. And anyway, what I look for in a dungeon tile system is it's got to be simple to make, and it's got to be easy to store. So this system will be no bigger than I'd say, well, just to give you an idea, this is a 16 by 16 bit, but it's broken down into 8 by 8 pieces. I may go a little bit bigger than that, I'm not quite sure yet. So like DMG, I want it to be modular, reusable, and flexible. Okay. Now, I want it to be low cost of materials. Now, cardboard you can get free sometimes. You can sometimes get styrofoam or the white beaded polystyrene for free, depending on where you get it. I prefer, actually, this is made out of the rigid insulation foam from hardware stores. So it comes in the same thickness and the same length, and it's practically cheaper than going out and buying some pre-made terrain. And I'll go more into that in a little bit. So one thing I love about it is I can tailor make it to what I want. And pardon the shaking here, but what's really nice about this is once it's together, just like DMG's stuff, I'll pan in here, it's virtually seamless. Yes. And I'm relying mostly on the cracks to hide the seams, and I think it turns out pretty good for my first shot at it. And this is basically just a base coat of black with gray, neutral gray, done like a stippling type of dry brushing, and it's only one gray, so that's why you're getting a variation of color here without having to use 2 or 3 different, 4 different types of paint to get a nice effect. And I did use hot wire tools on this. However, you don't have to use hot wire tools. You can use regular simple cutting tools if you want to. You'll just create a slightly larger mess, and it'll look a little bit rougher around the edges, but don't worry about that. If that's all you can afford to do, not a big deal. So this is an 8x8 room I was showing here. This is a 4x16 corridor, and I'll point out also that I want to keep the walls geared towards the rooms. And I may not have a wall on every corridor, since I like how they're nice and wide for figures with big bases. And I noticed that there's an argument out there about, oh, well, the rooms are too small for my figures to fit in. And it's like, well, how big is the room and how big are your figures? That's all about planning, I think. I mean, this is a 2-inch wide doorway, which could accommodate a door eventually, but this is just for demonstration purposes, per se. And this is a 28mm figure scale here. This one's a slightly larger one by a few millimeters. But anyway, just to give you a point example of, you would not want to have a fight with a dragon inside a closet with 4 characters. It's painfully obvious that's not going to work unless you super micro shrunk everyone down. Okay. Anyway, enough with the silly stuff. So, where else am I going with this? Well, I do have a similarity to DMG's dimensions. He does a 6.5 centimeter by 6.5 centimeter square grid style layout, and mine is just converted over to inches, and it's just a little bit longer per se. And this is the equivalent to his 2 square by 2 square room. This is actually a 4x4 square room. Whoop! What did I do that for? Anyway, this is actually in multiples of 4. So this is actually 4 squares, which is 8 inches by 8 inches. There I go again. I'm attacking the character. Okay, why don't we just put you over there? So, also, if you've noticed, my walls are a little bit wider, higher, and thicker. They are 3/4 inch wide and high walls, and don't have a coronary over that, because actually, even though the walls are wider and higher, they pretty much cover up the same amount of space and allow for almost the same amount of space for what DMG has in his rooms, space-wise. Yes. So, it's just almost an equivalent with English, with some liberties taken, of course. Now, I will briefly go over alternatives. There are pre-printed dungeon tiles you can buy. They are beautifully printed, and they look nice presentation-wise, like DMG has said. And I'm trying not to be a cookie cutter crafter here with what I'm saying, but I'll do my best. The only problem is they're as flat as this paper. So you're just getting a super colored map. Now if that's what you like, that's okay. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just that's what it is. I prefer something a little bit more three-dimensional, and in this case textured. You can make cardboard look more three-dimensional and textured. It just takes a little bit of work, that's all. Then there's the pre-made dungeon boards you can buy that are mostly sectional. Dwarven Forge has a variety of stuff you can buy, and they're beautifully done. They look good. You have to buy a lot of them, like DMG says, and I don't know, I think they might lack a little bit of the flexibility factor, but you're buying someone else's stuff, and if you like that stuff, you know, that's great. Then there's Hearst Arts. I'm sure everyone's heard of Hearst Arts. They're great. They are silicone molds you can buy, and you can fill them with plaster, dry them, and then you have all kinds of tiles or bricks or whatever you're making into a dungeon, and you've got to deal with a messy, a lot more mess than you will be dealing with foam or cardboard per se. And I'm not going to really go in detail about that now, but it's going to take a lot more time. If you want to pursue that venue, more power to you. It wasn't for me. I thought about getting into Hearst Arts honestly when I was going to build strongholds, and then I got turned off of that when I liked, I shouldn't say I got turned off, I got turned on to crafting with foam when I noticed some videos from Terranscapes. So just keep that in mind. And like I said, that stuff is going to look sectional. You're going to see the seams very easily, and that's quite alright if you're okay with seeing the seams. But with this stuff here, when it's laid down properly, the seams tend to blend together better, in my opinion. So that will conclude pretty much what I'm talking about, but for right now, this is one of my room pieces, 8x8. This is an ascending stair piece. And one more thing I should point out while I'm thinking about it. Unlike my stronghold stair pieces, I made this one with larger steps that are, of course, they're closer together, and so you can actually do some battles on the steps if you wanted to, because this is more of a we're not going exactly for scale, and this is also just for interpretation purposes. And whoops, just like everything else with role-playing, it's slightly different kind of gameplay compared to wargaming, but not too much. And that about wraps things up. So thanks for watching. Bye.